Hey there, let's chat about making a little biographic using Adobe Express, which used to be called Spark, which also I've seen called Creative Cloud Express, but I think we're calling it Adobe Express now. So this is part of the resource series for the Adobe Digital Learning Institute, but please feel free to use this for anything you need in your personal and academic endeavors. So going from our resource page, I'm going to click on session 1 and find my resource page here. We already made our portfolio pages using Express Page, so we're going to jump to the second part called Creating Graphics with Creative Cloud Express. And this is just a reminder that there's a nice resource here for you. So graphics with CCX are, they're kind of a light version of Photoshop and Illustrator. You can do simple graphic design, you can do image editing, you can cut out backgrounds, you have layers, but there's no truly manual tools in there. You're just clicking and dropping and adjusting. You type things in manually, but everything else you are having to just adjust. So, for example, if you're wanting to add a rectangle to your design, you have to search for a rectangle symbol, put it in, and size it, which can be, if it gets to the point where it might be frustrating for you, you might be ready for actually using Photoshop and Illustrator. So that's kind of the idea here. So what we're doing for this one is we're going to search for About Me, and we're going to jump in from a template, which is something really great about Express. Is there's thousands of templates that are available for users with the intention of them being taken and remixed for your own needs. So it really eliminates that challenge of what do I start with, what's the design I like. You might find something that is 50% of what you need already, or maybe it's completely and you just go and you do your colors, your fonts, your images. That's fair game. That's the whole idea. So for this particular session, we're just making a little bio. We decided it would be a fun way for us to all get to know each other. It's kind of like an icebreaker activity. But you can use this to make collages, infographics, informative posters, logos, and designs in general. So when I clicked on this template, it jumps in and it's already a completed design that I can go and change. And our goal here is to make our version of this. So if we look at my version, actually let me go to the top. I kept some of the colors, I changed some of the colors, I kept some of the layout, I changed some of it, and I put in my own images. I didn't like the font or anything. And you'll see that this can go pretty quickly once you're comfortable with it. So let's go ahead and jump in here. I have all of my files on my desktop organized into a folder called, I believe, CCX demo. Let me move it over to this window. You can see CCX demo, and I have them here. We always stress the importance of file organization when you begin a project. You don't want any files to go missing or to be in temporary folders, so make yourself somewhere for them to live. All right, so let's jump in here. This is the Express graphic workspace. The left-hand side is where you will find design elements. You can browse templates, you can add text, and the text will be this kind of stylized text, or you can click the plus and add your own text box and then go and stylize it. You can add photos. Adobe Stock is built in, so you can search and insert images and know that you're allowed to use them. If they have a little crown, it means it's premium access. Anybody that has a license with the University of Arizona has access to this premium content, but there's plenty of free ones as well. You can also upload your own image. Then we have shapes. Like I was saying before, you can't actually draw a rectangle, but you could find a rectangle or square and drop it in. And there's also probably thousands of symbols. So if you want like a mouse cursor, a lightning bolt, just little explosions, you can find them. So the shapes are all going to be single color symbols. The assets are going to be these kind of cut out little collage elements. Like you can find interesting frames and just textures to put in. You can find, like, say you wanted a camera, but you didn't want a camera icon, you want like a little camera cutout. You can find these pretty cute ones, and if you click, it should drop it in your design, and you can click and move it around. I'm going to just delete it. Backgrounds are going to be kind of patterns and abstract designs that are just a nice place to put your elements on top of. Logos are something you design and you build, so you can see I have some Arizona ones. And libraries are actually your Creative Cloud libraries, so if you keep files in there, you can go and find them, which is pretty good. So the left-hand side is where we find stuff to put in here. The center is the design itself, which we can zoom in and out of with these zoom buttons, or you can actually press Command or Control plus and minus, and Command or Control 0 will fit it to the window. And then the right-hand side is where we can see our design layers and make adjustments. So if I were to click on, this is an easy starting point, Sadie Halpin, you'll see that it brings up the edit text. This is where I can change what the text says. We're used to maybe clicking here and typing, but you see it doesn't highlight there. It highlights over here. So I should put my name, Alejandro Gonzalez. And my name was a little big, I guess, so I'm going to just pull this bar out. Maybe I'll push it in. There we go. So with the text, you can kind of manipulate it by just moving this box around. And I mean, I guess maybe I'll change the font. Let's go ahead and change the font. That's not me. Let's try, let's not play too long here. Let's just use Poster Gothic. That's me. I'm very goth. Okay, and if we look at this text, it has a fill color and it also has an outline. So let's look at what that is. Here's the text itself. Here's the color. Here's the alignment. You can actually choose different alignments here as well, which are fun to play with. I invite you to check them out. And then down here is outline, where if you click on the word outline, you choose what the outline is. There's also shape, so if instead of an outline I wanted a box behind it, you can kind of choose what style box. Like if I wanted my name in a little banner, I could do that. It's not really the right color for it, but I can choose something else here. Maybe this is the right one. And the shape color is here. Maybe choose that same color. So there's my name. We're kind of going seat of the pants here, so we're just going to line it up here. Okay, so I can start changing the text, and I'm not a lifestyle blogger. Maybe I wish I was. So I'll put Adobe Specialist. That's what I am. And again, I could go and change. There's also font recommendations if I wanted to see some different styles of it. I could click here and check them out. It's a little hard to read, but let's go ahead and just leave that centered there. So you can edit your text by double-clicking and checking out the space around it. So we could go and do the rest. Let's see, it's about Sadie. And what I decided on mine was I didn't want about and this little scribble, so I'm just going to click on each part and delete it. I'm just pressing delete on the keyboard. And I decided to put pictures of things that mattered to me. I also didn't need these little stats. I will keep Facebook and Instagram, I think. I'll just move them down here. And I'm just clicking and moving them, and you'll see these little these little guides show up to tell you if you're lining up with things or not. So that's pretty nice. I think about, ooh, does it want to now? There we go. And then I want to add text here, but I also want to add images, and I want to replace this image. So let's kind of work from the top down. First, that's not me, that's Sadie. So let's go ahead and get Sadie, and we can delete her, or we can go replace. And here you can choose a stock image, or I'm going to go upload photo, CCX demo, and I believe it's the second one. No, that's my son. That's a cactus. There we are. All right, open. And there's two things we're going to notice here. It's cropped super thin, so maybe I want to make some room here. And it has a filter on it that's giving it that red color, which I'm not particularly enjoying. Is this stuck on us? While this is loading, let's take a moment to name our project. I would name it TCX Bio Demo. You just click up there in the top left and type. It's a good idea to save, to name your projects things that make sense. Otherwise, they will be called Untitled Project 52. I'm going to refresh the page, see if that gets us where we want to be. It's a really great web-based program, but sometimes it gets a little bit stuck and you just give it a little refresh. All right, so there I am, and if we look at this picture, it's cropped pretty thin, like a widescreen cinema. And I can actually look here in my adjustments panel, and I can find crop and shape. And here you can find, like, put it in a heart, in a circle, or you can freeform, and you can just pull out how much is cropped. And then you can move the image inside of the crop, because my son, he's cute. Let's get him in the picture. And then if you're happy, you hit the check mark. That's a little better. I need to move all the other elements down. I'm going to go ahead and click and drag across them. And, oh, I missed the top one. All right, that should be okay. And maybe this is just too big. I think it was just too big. Not that important. Okay, and I just want it touching there. Adobe Specialist. And it's up to you. Sometimes I design and lay things out as I'm going, and sometimes I lay everything out. I drop everything in there and then do the adjustments. And what I'm going to do is add a third about, because I want to have a little picture and something that kind of talks about it. So what I can do here, I wonder if I can, I'm going to click and drag to select all of this, and I'm going to hold Alt-Option to duplicate it. That's pretty good, but I don't want that one, so I'm going to Command or Control Z, click and drag. I'm going to hold Alt-Option and drag it out. You could also do Command or Control C and to copy, and then Command or Control V to paste. Let's get our spacing a little more consistent. Maybe this can go up. All right. So this picture, I also got a little lost there. It has a filter on it, and it's kind of that red color that is bringing consistency to it. So you can find effects over here to turn it off or leave it on. You can also choose different filters. That's a kind of nice way to bring consistency to the design. Let's go ahead and keep it. It's not really a color that I would choose for it, but let's go ahead and just keep going here. What I want to do is drop a little picture of my son right here with the background cut out, and maybe put something about me being a dad now. So what I'm going to do is go over to my element area, choose Photos, and upload a photo. And this one was my son. When it uploads, I can grab it, I can move it around, I can rotate, I can undo, I can resize. And what I want to do is cut the background out. So what I'm gonna click on the picture, and then go over to the editing panel, and I'm gonna do remove background. And what that does, it does a pretty good job. It's going to analyze your image and determine what it thinks is the subject, and keep that and remove everything else that is background. You can go and if you turn off auto, oh no, down here in customize, you can actually go and erase and restore. So if it removed something that mattered to me, if I click the restore button, I can actually go and manually paint in things that I wanted. Same thing for erase. If it missed something, it doesn't really seem like it did, I could go and erase more. Like, see, I could take his little elbow out, but I don't want that. So Command or Control Z. And you can also make a selection and invert it so that the opposite is cut out, which is a fun way to kind of overlay things and create fun design elements. I'm happy with this. I'm going to hit check mark. And let's go ahead and put that filter on there. It had the lighten filter on there. So now it's kind of consistent. There's my son. Pretty cute. stretch this out. And here's where okay, pretty good. I would definitely put better text there, but we're demoing here. Next part, I'll put a cactus. If you have met me in some capacity, you might know that I grow and collect hundreds of cacti. So I'm going to go back to Photos, Upload Photo, and I'm going to choose the cactus picture. And here we'll see this Areocarpus. I want to cut out the background again, so I'll click on it, remove background. Give it a minute to do some magic. Pretty good magic. And again, if I wanted like to keep the pot, I don't think I want to, I could go to Restore and I could say, oh, give me back the pot that it's in, and just, I didn't do a good job, but I could bring it back. I'm gonna undo and I'm gonna hit check mark. Let's go ahead and put the same filter on there. Filters, lighten. And if this was my final design, actually look at this. We got a little chunk here we don't want. So let's go to Edit Cutout, and using the bracket keys on your keyboard next to the letter P, you can resize your brush and you can remove little unwanted elements. Not that they were really ruining things, but might as well see. Oops. Okay, and check mark. There we go. Command 0 to fit to size, Command and Control. And, you know, put some text here. Alejandro loves to collect cacti. And for the sake of time, oops. We'll just put that as a placeholder. And then another thing I wanted to share was my passion for mountain biking, so I will add another photo, upload, and find the mountain bike picture. This one, nice. And I think this one was a particularly impressive remove background situation where it actually will keep the spokes as well, some of them. It's pretty okay. I think it did a better job last time I did this. But it did a good enough job, especially for something that's free and doesn't have to be installed. But it definitely looks like a mountain bike. And you know, this would be text about mountain biking. Down here, if I go to Sadie H blog, I might put my Instagram, Adobe Arizona. And then I could click on Sadie Facebook, and I could also put Adobe Arizona. If I wanted to find more elements to add, oh, and I need to lighten this one too. And let's actually pause for a second, because maybe lighten isn't what I want. I think matte might be fitting my needs better. So let's try matte. Yeah, that's a much better color. We look like lobsters otherwise. Now we look like Shreks. That's pretty good too. Okay, I would consider this pretty ready. If somebody has not used Express before and they made this, I would be very happy. But I can also go and say, oh, these colors aren't my colors, and I could click on this rectangle and choose something that is more my flavor. That's not it. Maybe I go to a darker blue. There we go. And something I really like about Express is if I go to this next rectangle and I click colors, that blue that I used is going to be on my current palette. So if I click here, I will get that same color blue. So let's go ahead and click Adobe Arizona, and actually, yeah, let's change it to the same color blue. One thing that I noticed that's interesting about this template is the Instagram and Facebook symbols are kind of attached to the text. So if I wanted to do something different, like add my email, I could go to Shapes, and I could put email, and I can find the little envelope and drop it in here. But now I would have this kind of design inconsistency, so I would probably want to choose something different for the Facebook and Instagram ones. But I could get this, and then I could go to, I'm going to just use the arrows. This must be a little template weirdness. Let's try again. I'm reloading. When in doubt, reload. Okay. Let's try using one of these pre-built ones. And then we'll just make it normal. Click on, okay, that looks normal. I'm gonna ungroup it. I'm gonna delete this part and part, and I'll put obcc@arizona.edu, and then we will change the font to, I don't remember what it was Paralucent. All right, and we will make it the same blue, shrink it down. What I might do is check the font size on this one. Oh, Paralucent Bold, 16.8. Paralucent Bold, 16.8. And put it down here by the other parts. All right. I think its spacing is a little bit off. If you hold Shift and use the arrow keys, it does it 10 pixels at a time. All right. This brown background is going to be a different color as well. That's hard to see. Sometimes I just click around and decide. Maybe it was the right color, the right background. Let's just change Alejandro Gonzalez to that same blue. You don't want to have too many colors in a design. It can be pretty overwhelming. Okay, the shape. Let's turn the shape back on and also make it blue. And so let's say this is what we wanted to do. Let's say we were ready to share this. It could use work. For example, the copy's not ready, but this is just a guide to help you remember how to do this. So now what we can do is we can actually download the finished file. I like to download JPEGs. PNG is super universal as well. Don't use a PDF unless it's specifically asked of you. So this just downloaded onto my downloads folder. You can see a nice JPEG here. I can also go to share and I can publish it, and it can be a web address if you like to have things embedded into websites or linked as URLs. You can invite somebody to work on it with you. You can even turn it into a template if this is something you intend to use over and over again. But let's go ahead and while we're here, let's add this to our portfolio. So I'm going to go to Projects, and I'm going to go to my Adley portfolio. I'm going to click Edit. And it's as easy as, let's just add it twice. I'm going to go Photo. You can see I did a better job on that one, but that's okay. And it is in my downloads. And now it is part of my portfolio. So I can earn my bucks. This is better. I like this one more because Judah's bigger. And that is the gist of using Adobe Express. If you keep in mind that you are invited to use templates, you don't have control over everything, and that it's a really terrific starting point if you're not comfortable with Illustrator and Photoshop. You can have a lot of fun with Express.